I saw that.
I think it's great news. You know, Bruce.
Okay.
Seeing as it is 6:30, I'd like to order the October 17th meeting of the Board of Select Persons and begin with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I believe we have a forum. Melanie will be a few minutes late, but she will be here. Does anyone have anything for public comment? This would be for items that are not included on the agenda.
The only thing I'd like to do is just say the newsletter came out and I thought it was exceedingly well done. I've heard people say that it was really nicely done and, I know Maureen's resigning from that committee, but, maybe just we could send a quick note to Maureen to say that job well done and the last one was really done well and, thank you again. And do you want to reconsider? Oh, no. But anyway,
I talked to her about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, anything else for public comment? All right. I move that we approve the minutes of October 3rd, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any questions, discussions?
I have reviewed the minutes and didn't find anything that I wished to edit.
yeah, I didn't see anything that.
All in favor? Dan?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes,
Peter?
Yes,
I'll vote yes, so 4 yeses, 1 absent. Okay. I move we open the harassment and bullying policy discussion.
second,
Lorna. Walking on this.
So this is the same policy that you reviewed at your last meeting and at the board's request. I combined both the existing anti-harassment and discrimination policy along with this workplace bullying prevention policy. So the first section is simply the anti-harassment and discrimination, and then you'll see section 2 is the workplace bullying. No changes, just combined into one policy.
okay,
I think that makes sense. And I looked back to see how recent the anti-harassment was, and that was just in June of 22, just over a year ago.
Yes,
yeah,
So,
when Anthony was here,
Yeah.
you all put that.
21st of June,
Yeah.
we approved it. So I move that we adopt the harassment and bullying policy as presented.
second,
I have a point, just a little discussion if we could at this
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely.
On page 4, under the Roman numeral procedures for reporting and responding to reports of bullying and complaints process. Under A, reporting, number 3, we say the Board of Select Persons. My question is, do we want to say the chair of the Board of Select Persons to be consistent with that which is found on page 2, when there is an internal complaint procedure? They have 3 steps, the third being report harassment to the chair of the select board.
good
There,
catch.
there may be sufficient reason not to be consistent, but I just wanted to bring it up and ask.
Mhm.
And I certainly don't want to make more work for the chair. So it's not that.
Okay, it's a short-term job. Either way, I mean, it seems like it should be consistent.
Should be consistent, yeah,
Agreed.
And it's probably better to have it come to one person than,
then to,
I don't know, what do you think, Dan? Do you think it's,
Yeah,
Should be
well,
any
if
member?
it comes to you, it has to, you have to give it to the rest. of us.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
So, I mean,
it
it's
just makes
it's
it.
probably easier if it's not one person to track down the chair and do
Yeah,
Yeah.
rather
okay,
than trying to get all the select board together.
okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Any other amendments?
None that I could see.
Okay.
I'm very small. And thank you, Lorna, for putting this together.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Oh, actually, I did have something under the page 2 of the bullying. Not letter D, disseminations policy, as part of the town of Belgrade commitment that needs an apostrophe S.
Page was there, like 4.
I have it as. Oh,
Page
sorry,
4 of
sorry, that's already been changed. That was from, I was looking at the one from last time.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, are you talking D, dissemination of policy?
No, I was talking about the old policy, but that already
So,
got
but look
changed.
on page 4, as
Huh?
part of the town of Belgrade commitment, should be Belgrade's.
Bill grades, it should be an
Oh,
apostrophe.
Oh, okay, and so where's that? I was
So add
looking
apostrophe
at
S.
just the bullying policy, that's why I was
Oh.
mixed up.
So that's on page 4 as well.
Page 4.
Yeah, under D.
Under D, okay, yeah, so that is part of the town of Belgrade apostrophe S.
Good.
On page 4. Okay. Anything else?
Nothing came to mind from my perspective.
All in favor? Peter,
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah,
Carol,
Yes.
all vote yes, so 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, I move that we open discussion of the security camera plans.
Second,
Lou?
third,
Susan, are you here for ARPA and pickleball?
I'm here to observe. I wasn't going to, I had nothing. I
Okay,
didn't know
because
if
we
it was
tabled
supposed
it until December.
Ah, okay.
But you're welcome to stay.
But you're welcome to hang out if you want.
No, I came to hear the conversation.
Okay,
Um,
we realized as we were working it over this morning that there were still some unknowns on
Thank you.
some
There
of
might be
the.
others trickling in.
Ken already came,
Okay.
but Dan caught as many people as he could.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Thank
Okay,
you. All right. Sounds great. Thanks.
okay, bye.
Bye.
Any,
Small point, I'm trying to find where it was, and I'll get to it. There was mention of the behavior being several things and then. Wait. Sorry. Different policy, this is fine. Another policy had it. This is good. I did have a question though, if I
Yeah.
may. Did we want to introduce the concept that, that the placement of these, cameras was done in consultation with professional services, initially to help establish where we would have the best coverage for these zones to do what we're trying to accomplish? Or is that not worth bringing it up?
I don't know if it actually was, it could have been
Oh.
the original town manager that kind of sat down and said, this is where I'd like to be. I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Thank you for that. I just wanted to ask because I was thinking that if there was a plan based on professional services, that it would be viewed as a planful approach.
I can't remember who was the town manager, but back when Denny was here, because I know Denny was involved with the security doors,
Mhm.
and the counters and everything else, and it may have been part of what he was doing in that whole package, I can't remember.
Good enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? I move that we approve the town of Belgrade's security surveillance camera policy as presented.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
The signature page, you might wanna make it consistent with all our other ones, and that's for the select board and then.
Oh, type the names in, yeah,
So,
well, this is draft, so
right,
we'll
but
have,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
when we get to
for approving it.
it, yeah. Yeah,
Do we have this in the?
You don't, but I will, have one ready for you and at your leisure.
Okay.
You can sign it or you can sign it at the next one.
okay,
Okay.
But we'll make note that it was adopted.
Okay.
I'll take for that,
Okay.
that was my oversight.
Not a problem. Okay, Peter,
Yes.
Carol,
yes,
Dan,
Yes,
I'll vote yes, so 4 yeses, 1 absent. I move that we open discussion of McGraw Pond Road speed limit.
do we need to, oh, I'm never mind.
What?
No, me, no,
Okay.
fine, go.
We each have a case of that tonight.
Okay, Lorna, would you like to
Yes,
talk about this? Then we can
Yes.
let Rob have his say as well.
sure. So, Rob is here. Rob reached out to me with concern about the speed limit on the road in which he lives. There is some concern about folks when they're walking or pets, animals, anything like that, that folks are just going way too fast. And I've included Rob's original email to me for you to review. I reached out to the state to find out what the procedure was. That's also included in your packet. So basically, Rob would come to the Board of Select Persons and request that they approve contacting the state to see about doing a speed limit study on the road. And then the state kind of takes it from there. So Rob, I'm not sure if you have anything else you want to add.
A couple of things. So first, for the record, my name is Robert Drew. I do not live on McGraw Road. I live around the corner. And it started when, so I've lived in Belgrade less than half my life. I've only lived here for 37 years. I drive for neighbors, driving neighbors. And it started when I took a client to cardiac rehab. And conversation, she said that she used to walk the road, but had to stop because cars drive too fast. Okay, I agree. She died. And otherwise she'd be here. So I talked with a few people, including Don Clark. It's not here tonight because he was exposed to COVID and thought it better not be here. He's fine, but we don't know. Anyway, John's father, Artie Clark, who is a very older citizen, also walks the road. We probably seen, okay. I drive that road 32, 33, 34, 35 miles an hour and find that adequate. It's hilly, you can read my letter, I'm not going to repeat any of it. I used to bicycle the road, there's a typo in my letter.
Rob, can you talk just a little bit louder so that
I bicycle,
catch you
I
on?
used to bicycle.
Thank you.
It's 12.5 mile route from my house. I stopped, it's just too dangerous. Anyway, so it's hilly. It should be reduced. I have nothing to say.
And the current speed limit is 45.
Correct.
And then there's a, what did you call the suggestion? There's a sharp bend in the road right at Artie Clark's house. And the
Right.
suggested speed
And
limit there
that's
at the
lower.
curb.
They suggest, it's a yellow sign, not a white one, suggesting you slow down for the corner. I know one person that didn't and was in an accident there, but that was at least 30 or 32 years ago. Pulled over and the truck shifted.
And I also drive the road frequently. And the speed limit in the Belgrade section of the road is 45. And then when you get to the Oakland section at Camp Tracy is about where the Oakland town line is. Then it's 40 from there on out, and it's actually a less hilly and a straighter part of the road in the Oakland section with a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Whereas the section in Belgrade is hillier and there are some blind hills, blind curves
Yeah.
on the road. And there are a lot of people who walk it,
Right.
including Artie.
Right.
I'm curious why there are two speed limits on the same road.
Different towns. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how new the development, how much, is the Belgrade development or the houses that have been built on the Belgrade section of the road, are they more recent than the Oakland section and the speed limit just hasn't?
I have no
Caught up?
idea. I don't really pay attention. I know there's lots of,
There are a lot of driveways.
like,
So what we would need to do is just as a board request that there be a traffic study.
Yes, we would send a written letter to the state requesting that they do a traffic study.
Okay. So I would move that we send a written request to the region traffic engineer requesting a speed zone review of McGraw Pond Road in Belgrade.
Second,
Perfect.
Any further discussion? All in favor, Melanie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes,
Carol?
yes.
Dan?
Yes,
I'll vote yes, so 5 yeses in favor of requesting the traffic study.
thank you.
thank you for bringing this forward. This is good.
and I do have a question. If we're gonna send a letter at the same time, I'd like to see him also do a sort of study from the old South Church, at least up to the flat area before it gets to my driveway on the West Road, where we come down to get the big hills and everything
Oh, yeah.
else. Because people are driving, I think the speed limit is 45 and people are doing 55, 60, that's what they're most of the time.
That's why when they first did the paving and they had the bumps in the middle and you were hated them, and I love them because at least every other year somebody goes off right up above my
Yeah,
house.
they're always on off the ditch.
Last year,
Yeah.
they wanted
They're
to
gonna do
so
some
far
studies
off
out there,
that they were
must study at
on.
least that section too, because it's a bad section. And it's been built up so much with the housing development through there,
Yeah,
it's something they really ought to look at.
So if we start where the church is, how far do you?
Oh, just about past where Melanie tells us, so
Yeah.
it's about a mile, I think my
Yeah.
driveway's 1/110 mile.
Yeah, cause I'm 0.8, so.
So just
Yeah.
have at least
So
look,
quarter
have at least
to
look at
a
that
mile.
part of it, because
Well, why don't they do
Maybe
it
even
from
from the
Route
Dunn Road
135 to your road, which would give them a road to across.
yeah, but I mean, but once you get to that point, it's fairly flat and straight, so I'm
Right.
not overly worried about it. What's the one across from you?
Deer Run, Deer Drive.
Deer Run.
What if if we said a traffic study from the old South Church to the Dunn Road, that gives them.
No, they can do that, they can study that whole section, because you do also have down by the
Because
Dunn
you've
Road,
got
it starts to
grass
get
and the
thick.
curve
Starts
and
to
the
get,
curve,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know
Every
a lot
other
of-
year
I've
somebody
gotten a
goes
lot of
on.
complaints from people walking that road too, but the same things happen, and
Yeah,
they're jumping into the ditch to get out of
That's
there.
crazy out there, yeah.
Especially with the traffic on Saturdays and stuff,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
so, but we're gonna ask them to do a study, we might as well ask them to do a couple of
So
Okay.
corner to the Dunn Road?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so
them, 135.
would you like to make a motion? Wait, who made that motion? Dina? Would you like to make the motion?
Just motion to include a second traffic study from Route 135 to the Dunn Road.
Okay, on the West
West
Road.
Road.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, no,
Great,
Yes.
love it.
Peter,
Yes,
Thank you.
Carol,
yes.
Thank you. Have a
Yeah.
good
thank you,
night.
Mr. True.
Yeah,
five,
Thank you.
See you in
Thanks,
North Belgrade.
yeah.
5 in favor of a second traffic study.
We can do them both at once, but if you're doing it, they'll just drop they'll drop those things that counts traffic, do it all at once.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
Make sure they include Saturday in there, Wednesday and Saturday.
We usually leave those things down for what, a couple of weeks sometimes.
Yeah,
Try to get count traffic status. The problem is when you do a traffic study on any road. Rural roads, it won't go above 45, but if you get a road that's like at 40, they could bump that road back up to 45 if they find it's,
Mhm,
doesn't need to be at 40 anymore. So you'd be having to go either way.
mhm.
My brother-in-law just had it happen down in Brunswick because they were complaining about their road. And they came in and said, well, we're gonna trim back some trees and we're gonna increase the speed.
Oh, that was
Because then people are
helpful.
gonna see much better when they're speeding.
Yes, right. Right. Right.
Okay, so do we need a vote to table the ARPA funds?
We haven't even taken it up, but
No.
wouldn't do it.
Just want to
With
Okay.
that,
Yeah, but
postpone
we
the
got on the
ARPA fund
agenda,
discussion
so we're not
until
gonna take it
December
up.
5th because of the um, unknowns.
one of the things I mentioned to Barbara at one point, was something that we might consider out of our funds, and the reason that I thought of this is that we have a number of functions, like the memorial dedication, that if you're not here, you can't see what happened. And I feel like we have a lot of, we could be filming town meeting. We could be filming various dedications, or memorial services for folks in town that were prominent. Things like that, that I think if we were to have, like a videographer on staff for the town of Belgrade on a per diem basis, that if someone could film those things, you know, we've got a lot of elderly folks who can't always get out in the town, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't want to participate, at least see. And I thought that it might be something that we could consider, so that 20 years down the road, we can say, you know, well, remember Bill and Marie Pulsifer were at that, and you go back and you can see, you know, like when the fire station, you know, if we had that on video and the fire station was dedicated to certain people,
Right,
I think it would be a really nice thing for folks to be able to go back and look at those if they're not able to participate, even if they are.
Mhm.
So, and we have some unused funds, and I know they have to be expended by a certain time, but maybe what we expend is the purchase of equipment. On staff on a daily basis. So just one of those things.
That's a good idea.
We're can preserve the history of this.
Yes, we had talked in the past.
Yes,
It's a really great idea to memorialize those events.
Absolutely.
Right.
yeah.
100 years from now,
Mhm.
right?
Is it okay if we add that?
We'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
We'll add that.
And Barbara had thought, you know, maybe it's something that we could tag in with the Historical Society for storage, or, you know, those sorts of things. It could even be something that you could run on a loop in the town office and the, you know, town hall when they have a function, you could have things playing.
Mhm, mhm. And it could be accessible on the website as well.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I would like to, have got a couple things that I've missed that I just, you know, couldn't get to because I was working or whatever, but I would love to be able to go back
Go
and
back
see
and
them.
see.
Just pop it up on YouTube.
Right, so we can't, yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to new business. Appointments and resignations. I move that we appoint Kimberly Dallas to the Lakes and Natural Resources Committee.
Second.
And I see we have Kimberly online.
Can you unmute Kimberly?
Hi there, folks.
Hi. We
Hello,
know,
Dorothy.
we know you from comprehensive plan and other things. But it's good that you're here in person for Lakes and Natural Resources, and thank you for putting your name forward for that committee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Does anybody have any questions for Kimberly?
No questions.
No questions.
All right.
Ooh, easy.
Thank you for your volunteerism.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Okay, so we need to vote. So I moved. We have a second?
I seconded,
Okay, all in favor, Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Okay, 5 yeses. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Have a great night.
Okay, we will, you too. Okay, and, Andrew Dallas. I move that we accept the resignation of Andrew Dallas as local health officer with regret.
Second.
Second.
And his resignation will be effective the 25th. He gave 2 weeks' notice as of the 11th. That's his resignation with regret. All in favor? Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Okay, 5 in favor.
And anybody else?
Good. Maureen, did we do her last time?
No, we didn't have her resignation. We had Regina's.
Oh, right, yeah.
Maureen resigned from the library.
Yes, she
Previously.
did, yeah.
Previously.
Oh,
Previously, yeah.
this is,
This is
okay,
from-
this is communication.
Yeah, this is,
Okay.
this is from Communications Committee. So, I move that we accept the resignation from, Maureen Milliken from the Belgrade Communications Committee with regret. And, she really has done a lot in terms of producing the
She has,
town
Hours
newsletter
and hours.
for many years. So she has been great.
So
So
I'll send her a certificate. of
send her a
recognition.
certificate of
Yeah,
appreciation.
appreciate
I'll second,
Okay, all in favor? Melanie,
it. Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Carol,
yes.
Dan,
Yes.
5 yeses. And, Lorna, appointment as interim local health officer.
Is that a motion?
I guess that's a motion.
Second,
We don't have an application from Lorna.
No.
She's just doing it.
No, 'cause she doesn't really want to do it.
I will do my best to find somebody else. I have my
Belgrade Health Center that might be interested. I know one of the dogs lives in Rome technically, so she wouldn't be able to do it.
Mhm.
But,
I can give a call over and see if there's anybody.
yeah,
Does anybody know anyone there that lives here?
not that I can think of, I haven't gone there since my kids moved out.
No.
Peter.
Sort of
I
a
do have
thankless
my-
job,
My certificate from the state, so.
so you're
it's
all
legal.
good that way.
Okay, all right, all in favor of appointing Lorna as interim local health officer
From
Yeah.
10:25.
Yeah.
From 10:25 until we.
from 10:25.
Until we
Yeah.
appoint a new.
Yeah,
Yes.
until there's a new recruitment.
Until we find someone, yes.
Yes. Peter,
Yes.
Melanie,
Yes.
5 yeses. Congratulations, Lorna. Another hat to wear.
And thank you.
And then we did have an application in the packet from Jacob Farmer, but that came directly to the town office and hasn't gone to the board yet, to the Parks and Rec board. So they will take that up at the next meeting and then they'll forward that to us.
Yeah, I contacted Dan McGlashy and he was going to contact Jim and then let him know.
Okay.
Okay, so I move the open discussion of the assessing services RFP.
Second,
This is just the same RFP that you sent out previously. You had done an extension with the current provider until the end of this year. So we could get this right out and get proposals in so that you could make a decision prior to the expiration of the current contract.
And so what should the acceptance date be? Really December or?
We could
That late
give,
November?
we could do it early December.
how long do we usually set the RFP for?
We've been doing just a couple of weeks. Just in the essence of time,
So
so
we could do December 4th, which is
December
that
4th.
first Monday.
Would it make
Or, I mean,
sense?
I'm sorry, for December first, they're in on Friday and we open them on Monday, is that what we do?
Right.
So December first would be the first Friday in December.
Now, would it make sense for us to switch assessing companies in the middle of Katie Cog working with us and the map company who was working directly with our assessor? Does it make sense for us to maintain our assessing services with the same ones that we've been very happy with all these years? Or if we flip in the middle, is that gonna throw our other pieces off?
But do we still need an RFP to continue with the current assessor?
You know how much we pay them yearly?
I believe Rob gave us an 8% increase. We originally budgeted 36,000 for 2024. But we had included, money for factoring, which he already did this year. So the, budget amount actually went down to 30,000.
Or where it's
So,
That would still need to be, that would still need to have an
Yes,
RFP.
yeah.
But we still have the authority to approve her.
Right, we don't have to go with those there.
I'm quite certain Rob will submit.
I hope I'm sure it will too.
Yeah.
He was crushed when he thought, with the last round that we were trying to ask him. He was like, "Oh, heavens, no."
It's just a formality.
There's some contractor.
So we could
Okay.
do that Friday and then open Monday, if you
Okay.
like.
Okay, because it said, sent proposals will be accepted until 12 noon on Monday.
We can
But
say,
don't we normally say Friday?
we can say Friday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Friday, December
December
1,
December.
and then open Monday, the 4th.
Mhm.
It's Scotty's birthday.
We'll have a cake.
Yeah. He just did it anyway.
Yes. So otherwise, there were no other minor, even minor changes, right, to this RFP?
No changes, just dates.
Okay,
That's level. No, I, Jamaica.
Oh, something.
Again.
I'll put it in your suitcase.
it sounds
I'm gonna
terrible.
go back to a movie just to bring back animals.
That was so sweet, Melanie. Oh my.
goodness. He is
Scott
honestly,
would have
he's the
done that.
best boy. Turns out you can go on vacation in Aruba and anyone, they will take as a flight volunteer. So if you're willing to, they will bring the animal to you at the airport and all you have to do is they provide the carrier, the ticket, the whole nine yards. You just have to get them through and deliver them at the gate on the other.
So sweet. Oh my
So my
gosh.
daughter has been times like, oh yeah. Can't have any more coming home.
Yeah.
Yes, but after Mama became available. It was
When I just realized that on page 12 of 12, there's also the date at which.
Yeah,
there's
I'll adjust those.
Okay. Okay. I move that we consider moving the November 7th meeting to November 8th due to the election on November 7th.
Did you vote on this one, Barbara?
Hmm?
Did you vote on this one?
On,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, on the RFP. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's okay.
Getting ahead of myself.
Do we have
I'm
a,
thinking, wow, we're really zipping through this stuff.
do we have a
Just like,
motion
we don't vote
Yeah,
on
we had the
anything.
motion.
We have a motion.
and seconded?
And seconded,
One second. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Carol,
yes.
Dan, 5 in favor.
And did we get your question fully answered? I know you had a question about it.
Whether we had to do an RFP,
Yes.
and because of the amount we do.
Yes, because of the amount we do. So that's why I was like, how much was it? If it was over 15,000, yes, we have to do an RFP.
Yeah. I second your motion,
Oh,
to change the meeting
to
date.
change the meeting date. Okay. The alternative is to go the next week, but then we're almost a month in between meetings because
Yes, because there's an
there's an
extra,
extra Tuesday in October anyway. So if everybody's free, We know one person doesn't work on Wednesdays, but maybe she's already
Sometimes I do.
booked. Maybe she's already booked.
It's okay, I'm just gonna put it in here so that I don't forget it.
Okay, so all in favor?
Yes.
Dan?
Okay, first time.
Yes,
Joe?
Yes,
Peter?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
5 in favor of moving the meeting to November 8th.
okay.
don't be up to the local, right?
Not too long.
I don't think there's a regular meeting on the first Wednesday, is there?
I don't
This is the
believe so.
second, this is the second, so.
Oh, that's right, it would be the second Wednesday.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Comprehensive is third
Right,
Wednesday.
okay. Well, we'll figure that out. Okay, I move we open discussion of the Central Main Power Pole Permit application for the Wings Mill.
Second. Or did you second, Peter?
No,
I didn't.
somebody second. You second.
I was reading.
I did now.
Okay. Lorna,
This is more of a formality. There's nobody in the office that has the authority to sign off on this, so it must come before the board. To review, approve, and sign. So it looks like they're adding, I'm not sure why they're adding another pole.
Was that
Did you
house?
see that?
This is
Yeah.
because of
For a
where
house.
the accident was, right?
No, it was
No.
that, no, it was a house going on the other side of the road for me. I had to sign off on it.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
pole 18 and where the accident was for pole 70 or
Yeah,
80.
that's.
Oh, okay. I just looked quickly and assumed that's what it was.
well, this is on
No.
Wings Mills
On
Road,
Wings
and the other
Mills.
one's on Manchester.
Yeah.
Right across from my house.
Yeah,
It's really nice and bright, shining right in.
No, this is just a poll.
It's the
Yeah,
pole,
just a
the house
pole.
down in the hole.
Okay, any questions?
Well, now we have those answered.
All in favor? Dan?
Yeah.
Joe?
yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll vote yes, 5 yeses for a pole permit application. Anything under other business?
Let's see.
I have something I'd like to mention. We were just coming in, I just got an email from Longfellow, you know, they still have some of their perennials on sale. I think at the last meeting, we talked about the fact that we had $80 in a beautification account, they'd like us to close out some of those accounts. That the front of the town office
On the
really needs
On
some
the
work,
left.
on the left as you're coming in, needs some work. So my suggestion is that, we maybe take the $80 that's left at the beautification account and buy some perennials now and get them in the ground. And I actually think maybe we should consider taking another $100 from the select board money that we haven't spent hardly anything of. So that next spring, the left side of the building looks as nice as the right side. And, you know, and maybe we don't need $180, but maybe we do. And this is the time to get them in and get them set. So that's a suggestion. I can make it a motion if you want to discuss it.
Now, do we want just anybody to go pick out the flowers? Do we want somebody to take a look at it and tell us what's appropriate to have there according to drainage?
I think if
those sort of things, because there was planted nicely before, but everything died.
Right.
So if we spend $180 and everything dies again, we're still in the same boat.
I also don't know how much attention they got, but I think we should, and maybe somebody could ask, Native Notions,
Matt,
Man,
Matt, you know, could you give us a suggestion of what we should get for flowers that will
Probably
do
gonna
well?
say one, they've got a bunch of hostas they pointed out there, probably more
Put
hostas.
some hostas or maybe hydrangea or something, I don't know, but
Which those ones won't be on sale.
yeah. But, you know, something that just
Check and see.
check and see.
I've got plenty of hostage I can donate.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's also the time of year when people, who you can split your hostas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but it'd be nice to have some height too, it'd be nice to
get
have
a little
some
height,
height,
so-
because the right side looks so nice.
It
with the
does.
line in and the plant.
and then you go to the left side, you're like, oh,
It's
so-
terrible.
So maybe we authorize the money, if we don't spend it all, then we
Yeah,
have, we haven't spent any from the select. I mean,
Up to- up
we
to
make,
100.
we use the 80 and then we authorize an additional 100 if needed. And
Up to 100.
I know at our house, the beer, the cost is down to
Oh,
a manageable level.
yes, they love those
They,
flowers.
they never get too tall.
Right out, I finally gave up.
I think every Canada Goose in Belgrade was out on the
Yeah.
lawn this
Oh.
morning. Did you see them out there?
They're out here every day out back.
Well, they got
Here
upgrades
usually a whole, like a
for
bunch,
fertilizing.
probably 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're eating grubs.
so I'm
Yes.
told that if you put grape Kool-Aid, the grape, that you make grape Kool-Aid out of, there's something about the smell or whatever, and I know people have done it, and you spread it around and they won't come away, around.
Really? Just
It might
great.
be worth trying a can of grape drink mix.
Well, they haven't eaten hostas up for also.
No, they
Yeah,
haven't touched them.
yeah,
They
anyway,
don't usually come around the front too much, because too much traffic, I'm
There's too
sure,
many
right?
people.
People in and out,
well, that's something to be grateful for, because
yes.
So did we make a motion the last time about the $80?
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
So we've
Yes.
already authorized the expenditure of the $80.
Yes, we
Right.
did, yes,
Yeah, to
Okay.
close that account out.
yes.
So now the question is, do we want to authorize up to $100 for additional plans? Out of select board funds.
right, I mean, I'm thinking we do, because if we wait and we get, and then we have to come back for authorization again, then we're gonna be into the end of November. So if we wanna do it, we get someone to give us some ideas and have Corey go shopping at Longfellow's. So,
I don't know the costs of those things, even if they're on sale, but it seems to me it could be easily reaching the $80 mark. And so without having a
additional,
little buffer,
a little extra.
it would really limit what the potential purchase would be. If the goal is to beautify this and get it established.
Yeah, and get it looking decent. We're not talking about spending tons of money. We're talking about,
I would say we just pick whatever's on the other side, hostas and hydrangeas that are relatively
Yeah.
pretty.
So it kind of matches.
So-
Yeah, so
yeah.
that it matches, because otherwise we're gonna look
Right.
a little more lopsided.
right.
And consult with Nat, right?
Okay, so I move we authorize an additional $100 from the select board funds towards plant the beautification of the front of the town office, if that money is needed.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, Melanie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes,
Cheryl?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes,
5 yeses.
great idea. Very good.
And then one other thing under other business is the 1-year review of the town manager.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Somebody's got to come on this. So I guess the main question is, how do we want to set it up? Do we want to try to survey people as we did before? I would not recommend doing a 10-question survey monkey survey again. I thought that was very limited. If we want to try to involve department heads and others, I guess I would just suggest that we go back to doing a paper survey. I don't know, but we haven't, I don't know how you are at surveys, but you're probably the most knowledgeable of all of us on computer issues, so, I don't know what you think about getting input. Because I think we can use the same, I think the forms that we used, well, I don't know, I thought the forms we used the last time were okay. And we can, I'll fill out those same forms again. I think the week wait the last time was the getting feedback from other
Right,
people.
we weren't able to put comments in.
Right, because, I mean, if I'm not gonna offer to do Survey Monkey again. If we want to do a Survey Monkey survey, somebody else can do it. And we can pay up, whatever the next cost, whatever the cost is to do.
$900 or something.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it was.
Mm.
But, to do more questions and open-ended questions. That's what we could only do 10 questions and we couldn't do anything that was open-ended.
Right.
So that was the limitation in doing it for free.
and we had a limit to the amount of people that it could go to.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. So if we wanna do it online, I'd be happy to entertain a volunteer to
With
take on that
computer
part.
skills to do that?
Computer skills to take on that section.
And are we thinking that all the department heads that we would want to contribute to this can get online? I mean, it sounds basic, but
I think everybody can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And this
One
time,
day.
this time we'd probably wanna do committee chairs, you know, we'd wanna do it a little more broadly.
so if we do this way, we're thinking of also to get the higher version, not the freebie version, is that what we're
We'd
saying?
have to pay something, and I didn't think to bring that information. But I mean, it's not a lot of money, and I don't remember if you have to do it for, how much time you have to do it for, do you have to, can you just do it for a month, or do you have to do it for 6 months, or I forget exactly what the conditions are.
Or we could not reinvent the wheel and just go to paper and make it simple
Yes, Bruce?
Yeah.
The last time, not but the time before that, I'm pretty sure you guys just sent emails out. The chair of the select board sent out, emails to all the department heads and all the committee heads. And you just filled out, there was a questionnaire, you just filled out the questionnaire and you wrote comments in, blah, 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 blah. And then just emailed it back to the chair,
and.
and then the chair shared it with the rest of the board. That's how.
And so it wasn't like a survey monkey kind of thing, it was just a questionnaire.
Right, the board
Yeah.
came up with a questionnaire that questions that wanted to be,
Yeah.
answered and,
Okay.
I think it was on the, actually, it should be a copy of that somewhere, because it was on.
There
Anthony's.
should, because
You
the
may
other
have
thing
it
that
actually
we
now.
had requested was so that it could remain anonymous. That
Right.
folks could just put it in an envelope and drop it at the town office.
Right,
Yeah,
Right,
So that nobody felt like they could or couldn't say what they would like to say
Right.
because it was coming across as this is who it's from.
right,
yeah,
but the questionnaire that we used, because we filled out one talking about Lorna, and then Lorna filled out a similar set of questions, about, from her perspective. And there were several other questionnaires in that packet. So, I can get that and see, that might be the easiest thing to do rather than try to do a survey monkey.
So if we do Survey Monkey.
Yes.
I love when it actually does what it's supposed to do, when you put in the key search, I'm like, ta-da, there it is. So varies depending on the number of users and capabilities needed. The free plan allows 10 multiple choice questions per survey, 10 recipients per survey. For the next level up from free, the cost for a single user, $9 billed monthly, or $39 a month billed annually for $468.
468.
For a year, yes.
So it goes from free to 468.
And just say, just
Or you
email
could do,
questions to
email
people.
is what-
I was gonna say, let's just make it simple.
Monthly, or you could pay $39 a month billed annually for $468. The same, if we said we only want this for 1 month and we're gonna send out these surveys. then it'd be
$99.
$99. But if we said, you know what, if we do this for a year, we'll roll around to the next town manager evaluation and we've already paid for it, but we would still only be paying $200 to do Survey Monkey versus $468 to have it on hand all the time.
But then we have to do it within the
Do that
year.
many surveys, and I don't know if it would behoove us to do more surveys if we had the capability.
Right,
I think that's a better question to ask ourselves,
right.
because if we as a town don't have a need, not that the money is a great expense, but I'm just thinking, if we only do one survey, is it really something we need to invest in?
Mm.
The email version is quite effective.
Mhm, mhm. And for the comprehensive plan, we wouldn't have to provide the surveys. They have all the surveys, right?
Yeah, that's what
So-
Joel said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Katie Cobb would, we wouldn't have to use our own survey monkey capability for surveys for the comprehensive plan.
Mm.
But
Well, maybe
do we
it
want
makes
to,
sense just to
survey, do we want to survey for the library, for recreation programs? I don't know.
I think we need to get this done,
Yeah,
so
No, what
maybe
is the
just
other-
email it out and do it the way we've done in the past, and then we can look later and say, would this help if we did it for these other things instead of,
Now, what I did like with Survey Monkey is that it gives you a graph of the answers and, you know, we sort of were able to see the trend. And I wondered if our intention with changing the hours was to run the hours like that and then see what people thought. So if we were to invest in Survey Monkey, is that a way that you could put a survey on the website and on Facebook saying, go to Survey Monkey because we want to know your thoughts? So would it give us the ability to tap into more people? Or would we have extraneous answers that aren't pertinent to the town of Belgrade? Because if it's like on the town of Belgrade's Facebook page and we include a link,
right,
we could get people from all over
Right,
Right,
right.
right.
creation skewing the data.
right.
How many people in here do surveys? When you pick up a phone and then they say, at the end of this call, you want to stick around for a survey, how many of you actually stick around for a survey?
That sometimes I do, because I was one of those people.
Well, I'm just saying, how many of us
Yeah.
do? I don't do surveys,
I don't do
I don't,
surveys.
I don't.
you know, I mean.
I'll say if it's 2 questions and you're looking for me to say you did a great job, send them over. But if it's like 15 questions.
No.
So, I mean, I think because of what it is, what we're doing, what we're using it for, we, at least at this time, just send out an email.
Yeah.
Come up with the questions, send out the email.
Okay.
If you wanna respond, great. If you don't wanna respond, that's fine too. And then just bring them back and put them in an envelope, bring them back here, and we'll have a box here, they can drop them in or something.
They can drop them in
Just
for the
use
next,
one of the wooden ballot boxes temporarily or something.
Yeah.
they can do it for the next 2 weeks from
Yeah,
1 week.
They can put
Send
them,
it out.
put them in my mailbox.
Yeah,
Yeah, put them
Yeah.
somewhere.
yeah, so they have 2 weeks from when it goes
I
out
mean,
to
as
get it
far,
back.
and as far as coming up with the percentages and, I mean, I can look at overall
Yeah,
numbers and add,
Peter.
I know how to add.
We can help.
Peter can do that. We'll give Peter the statistics. So.
The other thing to think about, so it's not against Survey Monkey, but, you know, the Office 365 accounts have forms available. So for no extra money, stuff we're already paying for the accounts, we could leverage that because you can turn those into surveys. So there might be a way to accomplish what we're talking about by having surveys that are available online through tools we already have.
Yeah, good point.
The Microsoft 365 suite
Uh-huh.
has some capabilities, so it's something to maybe look at before we purchase anything else.
Okay. Okay.
What's our time frame for? Do we want to come up with a question? Do we want to look at the questions previously along with the Survey Monkey questions, bring it back to the next meeting and put together what we're gonna send out?
Yeah.
Because there are probably some from both that are pertinent.
It's fine as long as we get it done and get this moving, so we can get this.
I think
review done.
if we send it out after the next meeting to be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Or that gives them 12 days or something to get it
Yeah.
back to us, because we're behind the 8 ball again.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into extra budget meetings.
Then we're
and
gonna get
everything
into
else,
budget,
so
then we're gonna
let's-
get into year
let's
end,
get
we're
it
gonna,
done.
yeah,
But we were late in the spring, so we knew that this was gonna be.
Okay.
Which is why
Okay.
we changed the contract to say an evaluation on or around the anniversary date. We've never done an anniversary date ever.
And so that's the
and
problem.
then how do you define on or around?
That's the problem. with-
Just found there somewhere.
All right, and that's the problem with expecting that we'll have the next year's survey ready by the time Survey Monkey runs out in a year.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we'll get 2 years of surveys out of it.
Okay,
Okay. Anything else under other business?
Corey jumped on, so I think he would like to speak to the board about a vehicle. Are you there, Corey?
I am.
Okay, you have the floor.
Has it already been discussed?
No,
No, we tabled the ARPA discussion because there were just too many unknowns, and it seemed like there were some items that, you know, maybe could come out of departmental budgets before the end of the, at the end of the year. So we
Yeah.
haven't had any discussion about anything on the ARPA list.
Gotcha. Well, with the start of the first question of the opera money and then later on this afternoon, we discussed that the ARPA was gonna be tabled. The truck question has come up several times over the last year, especially this summer, since we've hired 2 full-time people. And we have one truck that's a 2016 that I just feel, and a lot of other people feel, that we need a third vehicle as a backup for plowing and for just general maintenance. We're using our personal vehicles to do town work on a regular basis, almost on a daily basis. And if we have the money, and there's no reason that we shouldn't be buying a truck. I mean, that puts us at liability for people using their personal vehicle. And I don't feel comfortable in telling Dan, hey, go weed whack up to the cemetery, throw the gas and the weed whacker in the back of your car and go weed whack. I mean, how is that even appropriate?
So Corey, can I just ask, how were we able to do this before?
Because we didn't have 2 extra full-time people.
We did
And then
have-
on top of that, we
Prior to
didn't
that.
have, what's that?
We did have full-time people prior to that. We had a full staff for several years for facilities maintenance, and we were able to accomplish everything with what we had for equipment. So, and I
Okay, well,
guess.
we have a tractor that we haul around on a regular basis now. We have a skid steer that we can move from building to building that we've done several times. So
Right.
that takes one vehicle.
So we have that can go on. If we're looking for an additional vehicle, does it need to be a truck, or would it be more pertinent for us to purchase a small SUV?
No, I do not
then,
feel an SUV would be appropriate for future use of the town or the best resources for the town to be spending their money on. If we are plowing, and I've plowed a lot of snow, and we lose a transmission in a truck, or we blow a motor in a truck that's got 70,000 miles on it, we're down a vehicle, and we need 2 vehicles to keep this town plowed. There's no 2 ways about it.
well, and I guess,
And-
Corey, I think my hesitation on it is that it seemed more like a want than a need. Because we've been able to, for years and years and years. And a 5,500 is a huge truck. The upkeep.
Absolutely it is.
Absolutely everything. When you go to have your oil change, it costs you way more than it does for a 1 ton or a 1/2 ton. So does it have to be such a big truck? Do we look at a 1/2 ton truck with a 7.5 foot plow? Which 90% of people who plow their driveways, that's what they need.
But we're not plowing driveways. We're plowing a 1/2 mile road into the transfer station with a great big parking lot on both ends of it. We're plowing a Center for All Seasons. We're trying to keep 3 fire stations plowed out on a regular basis. North Belgrade, we're trying to keep the Center for All Seasons plowed. And then
Right.
if we have a ice rink, we're going to be plowing down by the ballpark. If we have, there was another area that if we get a new parking lot that they're going to want to keep open down by the Village Green for at least part of the year. Everything is expanding,
And everything
and
is.
it's not the same.
More money. It's.
Oh, absolutely. Everything does cost more money.
So for
But
me,
do we keep putting it
consideration-
off when the need is now? And it is a need, it's not a want.
I don't think we need in the town of Belgrade a 5,500. We've never
Well,
needed 100. We don't have a snowplow crew like the city of Augusta. We don't
But in
need.
3D, do we want to spend money on, we certainly don't want to spend money on a 1/2 ton truck. That's a waste of resources for the taxpayers of the town of Belgrade. Do we buy a vehicle that, yes, does the job for right now? Or do we buy a vehicle with something planning in mind, where if we get out of plowing a plowing contract from an outside contractor and we have to step up, then
No.
why do we not have the vehicle in place that'll do both things, plus be able to upfit it if need be down the road.
Because what Ricky Damron would say is that we don't plan for something that we don't have any intent, we don't have a reason to plan for that now. If that's something that we're considering, then we have capital reserve accounts that we could set up for a future plow truck if needed, if for some reason the current contract after 3 years doesn't work out. But we don't spend the money if we don't have to spend the money, and if there's a way to do it that isn't such a ka-ching value. I understand having the extra employees and having them use their vehicles and being paid mileage was a reasonable request. We've never had, for every person who worked for the town needed to have their own vehicle. And
We
it
don't
just-
want a vehicle for every person that works in the town. But if we're trying to mow the village green and I'm working with a tractor someplace, that's both trucks are gone. So if we need to go someplace or if we need to take something, another piece of equipment someplace else, I'm not having any employee haul any piece of equipment with their private vehicle. It's bad enough that we have to put equipment in their vehicles to get from one place to the other. I am certainly not allowing any of them to haul a trailer.
I don't think the intention, Corey, was forever to have people put equipment in their vehicles or be hauling anything. That is why the town has purchased the trucks and the trailers and all of the things that we have, because the facilities maintenance director's job is to get the equipment to where it needs to be. So that to me seems like a kind of a moot point. The intention was, the way it was presented to us previously about needing to buy a truck was so that sometimes one person was working at the town office and one person might be working, say, at North Belgrade. And I don't understand why we can't drop the person off who's working at North Belgrade if their job is gonna be for 4 hours and the person at the Center for All Seasons is only gonna be there for 2 at the town office. Like, why we're not able to coordinate that, and if we need another vehicle, it seems like it would be in the best interest of spending the taxpayers' money on the least expensive vehicle that is gonna accomplish what we need. So did we, how about a half-ton regular cab truck? Now you've got an 8-foot bed, and it's
A
a town.
half-ton regular ton truck is a waste of town money. It will not accept a plow. Or
Yes,
if it did, absolutely, I'll take that back. It will accept the plow. It will not commercially plow for any time whatsoever. It is a waste of money when it comes to setting up a plow for a town of Belgrade. It is a
So-
passenger vehicle in today's world.
We did a 1-ton, and we did not have any issues keeping stuff
Okay.
clear.
Can I ask, because I'm not real versed on half-ton and 1-ton and whatever we're looking at. If Corey, you feel the half-ton isn't sufficient, what's in between a 1-ton and what you're proposing?
3/4. Quarter ton or a 1-ton.
So are you proposing a 1-ton? I mean, I'm just trying to get the terminology here.
I am if it ends up being a 1-ton, so be it. I am proposing it's a 1.5 tons, I think is what it is. So it's a little bit bigger than the one that I have now,
Okay.
which is
all right. I just
much
tried to get
better,
some perspective onto it.
which
Did you
has
speak
much better plowing capability, much better
Yep.
hauling capability.
Corey, did you speak to anyone about recommendations who does plowing and hauling and all of that?
I've talked to David Stevens, I've talked to Jason Stevens, I've talked to Robin, who works for Hollowell Construction. Generators of Maine has an F550. Oakland Town has an F550. F550 is kind of like the standard of if you're moving equipment or if you want a truck that's going to last, that's it.
So a 3,500 diesel is gonna tow 26,000 pounds. The only people who can drive that truck have to have a CDL. So that's not a piece of equipment any more than a 550 is, that's gonna be readily accessible to any other employees in town who do not hold a commercial driver's license.
I haven't requested a diesel at all because they're so expensive.
either diesel or gas, your one-ton capability, if your GVWR is greater than 10,000, you have to have a CDL license in order to operate it. The only way to have.
I have a
G-
CDL license.
You do, right, but what I'm saying is, nobody else would be able to operate that except you. So that
Only if
is-
they were hauling something. You
They can't
can,
be
you,
driving.
I
oh,
used to-
absolutely, they can be driving it.
I'm working
I
right
had
now
one
with a
ton
company.
and I used to haul my food trailer with it. I don't have a CDL.
If you have a company, a municipality, or a company logo, like Maine, there's a
I
company
did.
I'm working with right now.
I did.
Who we have a significant issue with because the GVWR, the 1 ton and your cabin chassis is now over 10,000 pounds. They are not all required to have a CDL. But this is a pickle that they're being thrown into because the base weight of the vehicles is increasing by at least 100 pounds. On average, it's 400 pounds.
Yeah.
So now you're at 10.4. So, and a 3/4 ton, as Bruce will tell you, is gonna take an 8.5.
I got
V
9.5.
perfectly, or a 9.5 V plow, do 8.5 or 9.5.
I drove a 1 ton. I had a company logo on my trailer and on my truck and
You
I
can't
didn't.
do it
You
anymore.
didn't get
I
stopped.
didn't
You
have
can't,
a
you can't do it
CDL.
anymore. Yeah,
You put a trailer on, you could haul it with a motorhome. Can't haul it with a truck.
Generators Maine is running into that problem now, that 550.
That one that Doug drives around.
Yeah, he has to have CDL, he's gotta go get his
License.
Class A license.
So they've
The haul
changed,
truck.
changed.
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
That's
It used to be,
And that's
I
not
used to
bad.
drive a 5 ton box truck delivering oxygen. I didn't have to have CDL because we registered it for under 25,000 pounds, even though it was capable of 40,000 pounds.
Mhm.
As long as it wasn't registered over it. I didn't have to have it.
So just help me out, if the 550 puts you into needing a CDL, what's the next step down? Is that a 450?
350, 350. Well, the 450 is there, but the 450 is,
Okay, like I said, this is not my field of expertise by
And
any
it is
means.
mine.
And I did check with Nick this afternoon. Corey does, if we plan correctly, he has enough in his budget to pull from their current budget. And with approval, pull 30,000 from reserve
So one of the
to
things. that we-
purchase something.
Right, one of the things that we've done, and we did that same thing last year, was we had money at the end, so we went ahead and expended it. This is a major purchase, and what we don't do is we do not slide it by the taxpayers, and we don't say, well, we have the money, so we went ahead and spent it. We set up capital reserve accounts for the future purchases that are major dollar amount purchases. That is the process. And we have in this last year or so gone very far away from the processes, and it's important that we bring it back. Because that's
if we
the,
have a need now and we have the money and we have not put money in the capital reserve to cover the cost of a vehicle, if the way it goes now, the vehicles will be rust buckets by the time there's enough money in the capital reserve to buy a new vehicle. I'm just looking to get a vehicle that we would be able to work with. If it's a 350, if it's a 250, something that we can actually rely on to haul a trailer, to plow a plow, and not break the bank. I'm not trying to break the bank. I am not saying that we absolutely have to have this vehicle, but we do need, not want, we need another vehicle to properly work in this town and not allow people to be using their personal vehicle or trying to coordinate to, okay, I'm going to run up there and drop off all kinds of equipment up there. Then I'm going to run down there and drop off equipment over there. And then I'm going to try to come back and do my job at the same time. That is not feasible whatsoever.
well, and that is what is done in an awful lot of locations. The city of Augusta doesn't have one person on a crew. One person brings the stuff and then the crew is there.
Every town has vehicles at a job site.
Right, I just feel like, Corey, if we need a vehicle, let's try to find a common ground where either the $30,000 that's in the capital reserve for that vehicle purchase is utilized, and that's not gonna buy us a whole lot, that's gonna buy us a pre-owned half-ton regular cab, so that's gonna buy us.
But
So
why would
there's-
we want to waste town and money on something that is not going to supply the need that we have? You
So-
cannot reliably plow with a half-ton truck if we have an emergency where we blow a transmission or we blow a motor.
What, if I can interrupt for a second, what's the difference in cost from a 350 to a 550? 550 is around 90 roughly, is that what we're
A five,
talking?
well, I've found three and they're between 74 and 80 or 79 and 74, right in that area.
Okay.
You
so
can
we're
get,
looking at 80,000, I'm just, for rough numbers, 80,000 should do it. And what? would an-
80,000 will buy you a brand new one. A 550.
80,000 will buy a new
550.
550. And what would a new 350 be?
So.
Probably around
Because in the-
65.
56 for a gas, 3/4 ton, 58 for a 1 ton. If we're looking at a Chevy Custom or similar scenario, a work truck package or a pro package, you're gonna be between 54 and 58.
And that's
Then you're
for the
looking at
350.
about 10,000 for a plow, so you're 9,500 for a plow for those, or you're at 6,500 for a plow for a half ton.
Okay, so a 550 with a plow is 80,000?
Oh, God.
No plow. That's just a dump body.
For 100,
So it's
550, you need the bigger plow.
Yeah.
So the 9.5 is not gonna be a big enough plow, so you're gonna either need an extreme V or you're gonna need one with the extendable wings.
we
This
have
is-
V plows on all our plows and that truck will push it just fine and it doesn't need anything bigger.
Okay, I'm trying to find what the differential is between the two vehicles.
The biggest thing I see with 550 is everyone's gonna have to have CDL licenses. And
Why does
so-
everybody have to have their CDL license? If
Because
we have one
everybody-
truck that's CDL required, I have my CDL, why would we have to have everybody else to have a CDL?
Vacation
What
for
if
2
we have
weeks,
an emergency and you're sick?
or you're on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm in favor of another truck, either a 3/4 or 1 ton, I'm not in favor of 550.
Well, I mean, if
And
we're
not
gonna
as a
have a
taxpayer.
550, we'd have to have at least one other person get their CDL,
We don't
So
need
we'd had
a
a backup.
550 in the town of Belgrade.
but.
We never
Let's
have,
go.
Dan is shaking his head,
No.
I'm over here
Let's go.
trembling. Ricky.
Well, I didn't hear what you said, Dan. What did you
Not unless we have a public works, I wouldn't vote for a truck that size.
And I will.
Okay,
Okay, so
so,
then the next size
Then-
down is a 350.
350. A one ton vehicle.
350 is a 1 ton,
Yes.
not my area of expertise.
yeah.
And what would be, why would we not do a 2,500?
But let's just get that, so the cost, I just want to get the relative cost. So the cost for the 350 would be the 65,000 plus,
It'd be around, if you're
10
on the
10 for
high
the
end,
plow.
it would be around 60,000, but you shouldn't be at that end. You should be, depending on if you're looking for a regular cab or a double cab or whatever, you're somewhere between 54 and 56 for a 3/4 ton work truck or pro package. And you're looking at 58, 59 for a 1 ton.
Is that what,
So there's not a big difference between the 3/4 and the 1 ton.
is that what the dump body?
3/4 is single
The dump
axle,
box.
single wheel in the back. Dumped, 1 ton will be dual wheels in the back for most of the applications. Not all.
Okay, so it sounds to me like there's not a huge difference
in cost.
in cost between a 250 and a 350.
No, not a lot, no.
So then I guess if I were looking at a 350 with a plow, give me a combined number, because this and adding and whatever is confusing me.
So if you went on the high end, it's at 60 to 10,000 per plow.
270.
So about 70.
So about 70,000 would be the
And
350.
that's without a dump body.
And if we don't have the money there, then my suggestion would be that we request from the taxpayers to add money to the capital reserve for the facilities maintenance purchase of a future truck. And then we put it on for next year's budget.
In the meantime, what I think we really ought to consider doing is finding a little Chevy Colorado or something, even if it's a used one, to use as the maintenance truck. Or throw the trimmers in and the can of gas and go up and do them, run to Augusta or to Home Depot, pick up something, so that we're not running these 1 tons.
Exactly, because you're looking at 13 miles to the gallon on a good day, where if you can do a 2.7 half ton and you're running 30 miles to the gallon. And if we're looking at a 3.6 Colorado, you're about the same. You're gonna be 26 miles to the gallon for a Colorado or a Canyon or a Ford Ranger, a Nissan Frontier, any one of those mid-sized trucks.
And so I just wanted to bring up, I think your idea is a good one, Dan, about getting interim solution until such time we have things in the capital reserve that the voters can vote on. And to support what Corey was saying, if we have this other interim solution, it would alleviate the concern he brought up about having to request that the workers put stuff in their own vehicles and then cart it around. They could use this other thing to cart.
And
stuff around.
how much is the Colorado? What's the
Right,
cost?
what's the cost of that?
So if we look at a pre-owned one, you're gonna be around 30 to 35. New, you're closer to 38.
Well, you can find some little single cab Rangers and things like that. That fairly low mileage, and you're not gonna be spend 30 grand on
No.
something like this. You can pick up something like that, an awful lot cheaper. Just as a runaround truck.
So if
A
we have,
runaround truck would be spectacular. If we have a plan in place to move forward with funding a
Third.
vehicle.
Which then gives us 4 vehicles. Right,
And then we're over on.
right? I mean, I just wanna make
Yeah.
sure
You could
we're
say-
talking, we have
Yes,
2
Three
vehicles
plow
plus a
vehi-
runaround.
We give you eventually give you 3 plow vehicles and
And a
and a
runaround.
general maintenance truck.
I mean, the
Perfect.
2016 is probably got, Corey can answer this, but I'm gonna say that 2016 is gonna be lucky if you get 2 more years out of it, Corey.
Yeah.
probably. It's got 70,000 miles on it, and we just put $4,000 worth of body and work in it to make it last as long as we can. But it's got almost 75,000 miles on it, and it's worked hard. It really has worked hard. It's done a good job. But if we're doing $5,000 a year in a capital reserve fund, that ain't gonna cut it.
It always has.
I think the next vehicle we get for plowing, no matter what it is, we need to rust proof them.
We need to what?
Rust proof.
Oh,
They
Let's
do
make-
the fluid film on these.
I wouldn't put fluid film on anything.
No, you're better off.
Take it someplace that does rust proofing. Take it up to Darlings and have it, when it's brand
They
new,
do,
have it
I
rust proof with a lifetime warranty on it.
was just gonna say. they
And
do
what's the cost
lifetime
of that?
undercoating.
$1,000.
oh, okay, all right.
It's cheap insurance.
Very cheap.
Okay.
My wife's Jeep and my pickup, you go up to Darlings every single year under their warranty. They'll check it over. If there's anything that's scraped off it, they'll fix it. They clean it, they fix it, and most of the time they actually just respray the whole truck underneath again anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really good. That's a good idea.
Single year it goes up there and it's no charge.
No, the only downside to that is if we go with a GM vehicle, because the GM vehicle has thick wax coating on the frame. And you're actually not supposed to undercoat it for the first 2 years because they have to scrape the frame in order to do so, which then creates spots for rust to start.
Yeah.
So they say to hold off for 2 years, which either saves us $1,000 for the first 2 years, and then we have it done after that.
I just don't have to spray the frame.
What's that?
Just don't have to spray the
Right,
frame.
just don't spray the
Have
frame.
to spray the body.
okay, so let me ask you a question. If we are thinking, now, it seems now like we're thinking about a smaller runaround vehicle
Until we get the town to approve.
would be helpful. Now, would that come out of Corey's budget? Because it seems as if he does have money in his budget that won't be expended by the end of the year, rather than using the capital reserve fund for a truck. And that way we can keep or we still have the option of ARPA funds. I mean, we just put ARPA funds on hold for tonight because we had so many unanswered questions about trucks, about, various other things.
With my opinion, is if there's money left in the budget, if you're gonna spend money that hasn't gone to taxpayers, I'd rather spend it on something like that we know it's an actual need. We need to have employees be able to take stuff and go do it without using their own vehicle. You know, and that if there's a budget amount, there is budget, I would rather spend it on, do it that way.
Well, and I don't think that any of us was aware that the employees were being asked to put that stuff in their vehicles. When we requested that, what had come before us was that somebody might have to be here and somebody might have to be in North Belgrade doing cleaning or whatever. So the cleaning person here isn't gonna be running around with a gas can and weed whackers. And, you know, so,
I'm not saying it happens on a regular basis, but it happens.
and it shouldn't, because we do have the other trucks.
Yeah.
So it
But,
shouldn't happen.
but even the fact of having those big trucks run around and do stuff like that, run to Augusta and run to Home Depot. It's always good to be crazy. I'd rather have a small truck that uses around. Oh, I mean, look at Morris. You know, he had all his big trucks, and what he did is he ran around with an S10 all the time to go
Yeah.
to jobs.
That was-
Ricky, for the longest time, was running a small truck, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's just, it's
It makes
efficiency.
fiscal sense, and it's what we should be doing, because it's not our money.
You know, we-
Okay, so let me just ask another question too. So if we end up getting the Colorado type thing,
Small truck.
then if we then put the money in the budget, move some money to capital reserve, so that maybe this time next year we buy the bigger truck. I mean, just play that scenario. There's 30,000 in there, move money into it. We then end up with 3 plow trucks and a Colorado. Is that too much?
No.
If that's not
No.
too much, then I think the interim solution makes sense.
Agreed.
I agree.
If it doesn't make sense, then we're spending 35,000 on a short-term solution. That we should maybe take that money and put it towards the long-term solution. That's sort of where I'm going. That's why I'm asking the question that way.
One of the things I'm thinking that is not too much is, as was mentioned, one vehicle is aging and has been
Right.
retired. So
Right.
we're not mileage wise, but it's been used
Body
hard.
wise. Yep,
You
yep.
know, it's nearing end of life, so at some point, it's gonna be too expensive really to be worthwhile to repair.
Right,
Um,
so if we
and-
look,
So the
It's like
interim
that.
solution may be the third vehicle and
two
put
years.
money and plan, however that gets
So we can
planned out in budget
For next year.
Budget it for next year.
Get another vehicle.
to get another vehicle.
And it's-
With the money that's currently there and with money that we put in through whatever.
Can we add to the facilities maintenance capital reserve
We did.
account for replacing the
Right.
2016, say in 2026?
Yep.
so we go ahead and we buy the small truck, we go ahead and we buy the small truck now. Is that what we're saying?
If we had, if the money's there.
Yeah, the money,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a Toyota Tacoma sitting across the street with 29,000 miles on
How much?
it, 37,980. So that's kind of the top
Yeah.
tier there.
I still think you can hunt around and find one,
So,
a single cab, smaller, two-wheel
Yeah.
drive. So it doesn't really have to be a four-wheel drive.
We've got a two.
No, it doesn't have to be a 4-wheel drive.
Drive half-ton with a ladder rack on it for 29.
so
Where's this?
maybe what we do is ask,
Red O'Connor's, I have a red one that has a cap and I've got a white one with a ladder rack. And they're both in
Oh,
the
do you have
20.
anything in blue?
I think one of them, I think one of them is actually 22,000. So I know you didn't want a half-ton, but there's white half-ton two-wheel drive, but if we run a two-wheel drive in the wintertime, we're gonna wanna throw sandbags in the
oh,
back.
yeah, I don't think we want that.
Oh, I,
We always did.
Oh, winter-
Not since we grew up.
my work van's
Drive.
two-wheel drive. Oh,
Yeah, it is.
you put on some aggressive diggers and throw a little bit of weight in the back, you're fine.
Okay, so maybe
I'm not
what
that
makes
good of a
sense
driver.
is between now and our next meeting. Corey, look to find a vehicle and come back to us, or do we authorize paying up to X amount of dollars for a
Let's
vehicle?
find something.
I mean, we need
Yeah.
to,
First.
Yeah, let's
we
find
can
something.
talk about it forever, but it sounds like that's where we're headed.
Right.
Just take a
So
look, see what's out there. Corey can check around, Melanie can check with what she's got up there. And
do we want to authorize up to 35,000 for a purchase tonight? So that if they find something, it's there, we don't have to wait 2.5 weeks to come back.
I don't-
Because we've got an extra,
Will let you, if they know it's a municipality, if you put a deposit down on it or whatever, you can usually have a hold until you can come in with a check.
I'd like to confirm exactly what we've got left, gonna have left over in the budget. I don't, wanna make sure we're not gonna go over.
And I don't want us to miss anything that we were supposed to pay for this year.
Should we, I don't know how much of a deposit, should you authorize a deposit to hold for your next
Ooh.
meeting?
Yeah, well, it's usually $1,000.
I was gonna say 1,000, that should cover it, right?
Yeah.
Do we feel comfortable with $1,000 deposit authorization?
Or does Dan just want, you know, these are the options. this is
Well, I
what-
mean, if we find something, I don't have a problem with putting a deposit on. It's just, I want to get the employees and equipment out of the employees.
Right.
Yes,
You know, if they're using their vehicle to transport themselves and you're paying mileage, that's one thing.
Which is what we.
I
have.
don't want them having to take their vehicle to go to Augusta to pick up a can of paint to come back. I mean, we shouldn't be doing stuff like that. We should use
Okay,
it.
so then why don't we authorize, if you think 1,000's enough, we authorize 1,000, I move we authorize $1,000 to be used as a deductible.
Down payment.
I'm sorry, deductible. Use as down
Insurance.
payment for a, mid-size
Small.
vehicle,
Small to mid-size.
small to mid-size truck.
Even small, you know, mid-sized to half-ton, if we're gonna have to.
Whatever you can find.
How about for a
For the-
mid-size vehicle for the facilities department?
That's
The
that
vehicle can be
$1,000
defined however it needs to be,
Will it come out of facilities maintenance budget?
to come out of the facilities, yes.
Yes. I'll
You gonna second that,
I'll
Peter?
second that.
Oh.
definitely.
Peter,
I'll second
Peter can
that.
second it.
I was watching Lorna write. It is a long motion, but I think you got the gist of it, right?
Yeah,
I do pretty good.
yeah. Okay,
A few letters here and there, I can usually make sense out of it. Okay, who seconded though?
Peter.
Did, okay. All right, I'm good.
Wait, all in favor?
Yes.
Melanie, Peter,
Yes.
Carol,
yes,
Dan,
Yeah.
okay, 5 in favor.
So Corey, I hope that this helps, approach this in a planful way that will meet the needs that you presented.
I think it'll be spectacular. And I'm glad that you guys have agreed to move forward with something down the road.
yeah.
All
Great.
right,
And
thank you
we'll-
so much.
Between Melanie and
then
I,
just-
I'm sure we'll find something.
And then just adjust
I'm sure
whatever
there's
you
something
do
else
for
to
budget
add.
planning to account for that money going into reserve.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you meet with facilities already?
Yes,
Oh,
he-
so you'll
he
need
does-
to
He
do
does have
some
a request to
Okay.
add money
All right,
for reason.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anything else under other business?
And Melanie, do you guys still have your wholesale lot out there?
There's wholesale vehicles, but if they don't push them if there's any question involved.
Right, but I mean, I used to be able to. I'm the one who started, you guys said that O'Connor's selling wholesale to the general public.
Well, I sold 2,500 out of there, LTZ for 25 grand.
Right, and back when I was in high school, there was a guy who worked at O'Connor's that was a salesman, he was one of the big wigs. And they didn't sell to the general public, and I talked them into it, and then all of a sudden they started selling them on deals. I picked up a Chevy Blazer that needed, I think it was a U-joint. And the thing only had 30,000 miles on it. And they were gonna send it to auction, but I bought it for little or nothing compared to what I would have had to buy if it was out on the lot.
Absolutely.
You know, if we could find something out there, cause they go through them, and they'll tell you what's wrong with them.
They will.
And if we can find something that's sitting out there that needs
But I would
$500
rather, if we're gonna do that, get something with a little bit of a warranty behind it,
yeah.
yeah,
you know.
Did that,
Choose
did
one.
out of that lot, there was no warranty.
It's gotta be towed off.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
towed off, but-
Oh,
but you go buy a used vehicle, it's basically a 30-day warranty on most stuff, unless you buy
yeah,
an extended.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
So,
Unless it's under 75, like we do 3 months, 3,000. Or we're gonna serve, I get 12 months, 12 months.
like I said,
That's
let's find something inexpensive for somebody to beat around in, it's just a run as a maintenance truck and go from there.
Okay, thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
You're
Cory.
welcome. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you, Corey.
All right, moving on to warrants. I move that we approve payroll warrant number 116 in the amount of $21,276.09. Any questions? All in favor? Dan?
Yes.
Carol?
yeah,
Melanie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
5 yeses. I move that we approve warrant number 117, BMV newsletter postage, in the amount of $10,426.99.
second,
Any questions? All in favor? Dan?
Yes.
Carol,
Yeah,
Peter,
Yes.
Melanie,
Yes.
all but yes, 5 yeses. And will we approve payroll warrant number 118? I don't have that, but I
That's,
have it.
That was one check that was missed, on the regular payroll warrant for Ed, our maintenance, employee.
In the amount of payroll warrant 118 in the amount of 172 and 24 cents.
second,
Okay, on there, Melanie?
yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Carol?
yes,
Yes.
5 yeses, one payroll warrant 118. AP warrant, I move that we approve AP warrant 119 in the amount of $176,673.66.
Second.
Any questions?
Yes. Is this the one that we're holding the payment until James and Whitney comes
Yes.
back and corrects the
Yes,
issue at the transfer station?
yes.
Yes,
have they,
they are supposed to be coming Friday.
oh, okay. Okay,
Any other questions?
I'm all set.
All in favor of payroll of AP warrant 119, sorry. No,
Minus the.
minus, yes, withholding the amount for.
And what is-
Holding the
what
check.
is that amount?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't.
Where is that? Page.
Okay,
That's $20,440.
Yeah.
Yeah, what page is that on?
That is on page 5.
Here we go. Bottom of the page.
Okay, yes, okay, withholding
Okay, so
176, 673, 66 minus $20,440.
And we have to vote on that.
We just vote on the total.
well, so I guess my question is, are we voting on this pending the completion? So if they get the work done satisfactorily on Friday, we pay them?
I would hold it until we get a chance to review it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till the next meeting.
Till the next meeting?
As,
Okay,
as the chair of the transfer station, I recommend the next.
Yeah.
okay, that was my question, how we're doing it.
So the amount we'll be approving is $156,233.66.
All right. All in favor? Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes,
Peter,
Yes,
Melanie?
Yes.
Okay, I'll vote yes, 5 yeses.
good call.
All right, move that we approve the DMV and state payables warrant number 120 in the amount of $4,591.56.
second,
All in favor? Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
yeah,
Peter?
Yes,
Yes. 5 yeses. And I move that we approve payroll warrant 121 in the amount of $21,807.29.
Do we have a copy of that
We
one?
don't have a copy of that.
121 payroll warrant.
Yeah,
I believe it's in your gray. I put one in. I believe it's in your gray folder.
oh,
yep, there it is.
Is that one you're fitting?
Yeah,
We didn't miss anyone.
No,
perfect.
not on
Yay, yay.
thank you.
Anybody else want to take a look at it?
no,
Okay, all in favor?
Did we have a second?
Oh,
I did.
I think that-
yes, Melanie.
Melanie did,
Okay.
All in favor, Melanie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes,
Carol?
yes.
Dan?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, so 5 yeses. Okay, that's it for once. Now, the manager's report.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Or even something like what about like a Ford Explorer type?
No,
No,
well, I said SUV and he didn't want an SUV.
Right.
so-
Just little.
Oh. that'll work.
Little,
Yeah.
That's got extended cab and everything.
yeah, little.
Yeah, so it depends if it's a 5 foot or a 6 foot. Now, if
It's
on
really
something
cute.
It's just
six-
it's a little Ford Ranger, 2020, 49,000 miles, $24,000.
That's really
You
cute.
know, something like that, that's what I'm
Yes.
thinking.
Yeah,
They're around.
Perfect.
but it's not blue, Corey, it has to blue.
I put the town manager's report, in your packet, so you could review that. I don't know if anybody has, any questions.
Has the phone been ringing off the hook with people wanting to volunteer for committees
No.
since the news?
No. No.
We may at some point want to think of doing a brainstorming session. Of who could we think of that might want to be, whether we do that with an individual committee or whatever. I mean, just,
We haven't
You know,
had
who would be
enough
good
time-
to
we
go
haven't
on
had enough
this?
time keeping a public health officer.
yeah,
I'm honestly.
I'm about
gonna
to
talk
turn, I'll
Dan
find
and
somebody.
Travis and Possibly add that to the rescue, somebody from rescue,
We did that
out of
in,
their job.
we did that in Buckfield and in Sharon. Just FYI.
just, it's a
The
tough job.
problem is that ends up being a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
It's not,
Once in a while, you get some night calls. They're not all the time. But we also, when you, if it's part of what you get paid is to go out on a volunteer fire call. You know, make it part of that, just pay them for some real, they're going out on a call. Something to think about, we can't keep help us.
Right. Well, I think the health officer is one, it's when you start looking at, buildings in poor shape, people with, you know,
But that really
it's that
That
extra
should be,
stuff.
that should be code enforcement,
Yeah,
that
that
really
should-
should be.
yeah,
held.
I've never heard of health officer doing that.
No, that was crazy.
So there's
Right.
some, anyway. Obviously something to look at.
Okay.
I have a question, Lorna. Near the bottom of the page, it says the second notice of violation has been issued at 22 Horton Point Road.
yeah,
So since I drive by that every day, it's a place I have observed. In times receiving an acknowledgement that there's an issue, or is there not that?
I think the problem is that there are a lot of people living there. The owner passed, so it's an estate and was left to one of the children that's living
I
there.
think all 4 children are the owners of it,
Yeah, they're all part of the.
and one of
estate.
the 4 is living there,
Yes.
along with some of his.
One of the siblings came in to see me this week and we chatted about it. They were going to encourage the sibling that lives there to make an effort to clean up things. I also think it's under bank foreclosure, the property.
Okay.
I took a ride out as well, to see because I had some calls come to me.
There's other history with that property.
So,
They wanna be able to-
we're trying to get some compliance,
Right,
and that's why he sent another notice of violation.
so that's what I wanted to get to was there even an acknowledgement by the people, the person living there, that they received the second notice of violation, that there's awareness that there's a problem?
I don't have the certified, piece for the mailer back yet, but we did send the notice certified,
Okay,
so we'll,
Right.
yeah.
But it was one of the sisters who came to see you.
Yes,
So
correct.
one of the 4.
They
owners-
are aware, for
okay.
sure, yes.
Oh, that's half the battle, right? Just even recognizing that there's a problem, okay? Great, thank you.
Since we're talking about certified letters, have we heard anything back about the one we sent out for?
I got the piece
That's okay.
back on that, but I haven't had anybody say anything or contact, but it did go where it was mailed to.
Which one's that?
Transfer station.
Transfer station.
Oh, yes, I wondered that.
Yeah, it did go out and
There
we
was
did
some
get.
extras there the other day,
That's
so I was like,
Okay.
And I haven't heard any more from that department head about any issues.
Hasn't been for a few weeks.
Maybe it worked.
Good news.
Open.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Did you?
I move we adjourn.
All right.
Okay, wait a sec, Bruce wants to have the last word.
If I could have 5 minutes executive. It's to do with the property, or maybe you wanna. As update you guys on it.
No, we haven't done anything. I thought Dan was gonna be here tonight. But you're in his stead, so, yeah.
Okay, so do we want to go into executive session? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, 'cause I don't think,
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, I'm
I
not,
don't think I should be on recorded, do you?
No.
No,
no,
okay. So I move that we adjourn the
Excellent.
move.
exit the public meeting at 8:11.
Second,
All in favor?
Yes.
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 And that we enter executive session at 8:11.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Adjourn.
Okay. No action was taken at the executive session. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second,
All
Second.
in favor?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody.